Hello viewers, Jesse here for TechRaptor, and today I'll be giving you my first impressions on the newly released title Hitman for PC. Before I begin, I have to say thank you to IO Interactive and Square Enix for giving us this game along with the Season Pass, and just as a reminder, this is not a full review since I'll only be talking about the intro pack, which consists of the prologue and Paris missions. But with all that said, here's what I think. I first want to talk about the biggest issue that surrounds Hitman, and it's the fact that if you're playing offline, the game is near enough dead. Why is this, you may ask? Well, if the servers are down or your own internet is, then playing Hitman becomes a near enough pointless affair. You'll be kicked out of whatever game session you are currently having. After that, you won't be able to use or even view any of your unlocks in your offline session. You can't view your own stats and quite a bit more, because all those things, for whatever reason, is tied to the online server. Meaning you can't progress in any way and you are locked out of the majority of the content, but you can still play missions, it just won't mean anything and you can't use what you want to use. Other than that, this is probably the best Hitman game I've played since Blood Money, so on to my initial impressions. On the surface, the content available in Hitman as of now may not seem worth it, but I think it is. For the price that you'll be paying, you'll be able to play through 2 training stages and 1 mission set in Paris, which effectively is the game's first episode, and these 3 stages alone offer many hours of playtime. Well, for me they did anyways. I'm about 8 hours in as of now, and that doesn't even account the inclusion of player-made contracts, and with those there is even more of a reason to play. But let me give you the quick lowdown on what these 3 stages are. The first stage is quite easy, and for those who are interested in a bit of Hitman lore, the stage actually takes place 20 years prior to the setting of the first game, codenamed 47. You'll find yourself in a mock private boat made out of plywood and all the other good stuff, but if you notice, you're actually in a training facility and your current scenario is simulated. The second stage is quite similar to the first one, but in a different location and you have a bit more freedom. Lastly is the mission in Paris, and this is where the true game begins. In this mission you have 2 targets that must be taken out with any means necessary. Your first target is a man called Victor Novikov and his partner Dalia Margolis. These 2 both work for a organization called IAGO, or IGO I guess, whatever it is, and these people, they are professional hackers, the people who are in that organization, and as of now they are trying to auction off a list as the names of British spies. When actually in game, Hitman still retains all the core gameplay elements that have been a mainstay since the first game, but quite a few things have now become a bit more easier to pull off due to the refined controls and single button system. But I shall warn you, this is a much more lenient Hitman experience, and if you leave it in its default settings too, I mean, quite a few things have been streamlined for the player so that he or she will always know what they are doing, and due to this, I would suggest going straight into the options and tweaking them so the game can become more of a challenge. Doing this, it will actually just extend the game time, except, you know, it will make it a bit more difficult, but it will make it a more rewarding one for yourself. You'll get your money's worth if you do so. Stealth is of course a big feature in Hitman, and it's now smoother than ever. Being able to swiftly slide from cover to cover, slip in and out of disguises and so on is quite fun, and they did fix the issue that was prevalent in Hitman Absolution, oh god, where nearly everyone knew who you was when you're wearing the same outfit as them. It was annoying as hell, but now only a few handful of NPCs may actually see through your disguise. The somewhat controversial Instinct mode has returned, allowing you to scan around the environment so you can see through the walls to track NPCs and highlight important objects in the area. Now for me, I don't like this, and it's just because it's just such a trend in games now that for whatever reason the main character has this weird mutant power that's either poorly explained or just not at all. Needless to say, it kind of feels cheap, but it depends on the player. Now, as fun as Hitman can be when it comes to stealth gameplay and such, a problem I can see a lot of people bumping into, and more so with the new players of the Hitman franchise, is out of prep work and waiting around. I mean, if you're looking to do more elaborate or high-end kills, then it will take a fair bit of time and a tad bit of planning. A game like this requires patience, and if you're not that type of person, then you might not enjoy Hitman. But you could always go around stabbing people in the neck if you really want to. I mean, I know I did. However, the problem of being a bit of an impatient person when it comes to this game is made even worse if you mess up in just the last second or the AI somehow spots you doing something even though they shouldn't have. Although that sounds like a bad excuse, but it's still true. You might just end up shooting your way out of a situation if that ever happens, or reloading a previous save, and all of that can lead to quite a bit of dissatisfaction. Aside from the occasional annoyance, Hitman's levels are filled with many opportunities and approaches. Some are obvious, but others are more improvised and fun to play through. With the inclusion of this new objective system that hasn't really been used all too much in past Hitman games, you're able to look at and select from a wide range of different objectives. Some allow you to discover hidden weapons and objects, while others show you different ways of killing your targets. All of these encourage the player to be more creative, and when you do so, it proves to be a more satisfying experience. Overall, the new Hitman game is something that is well worth sinking some hours into, and even me, who's put around 8 or 9 hours, I still haven't discovered everything, and this is true even before you begin to mess around with all those secondary targets and other challenges. This game, it's got style, it's got a superb amount of detail, and yes, I know, the always online sucks, and who knows how that will play out in the future, but one thing is for certain, this is 10 times better than Absolution will ever be. Before I go, I'd like to say that you're already in the right place for future Hitman content, as I'll be looking at all the major downloadable missions and other content that will be released in the coming months. And there you go, my initial impressions of Hitman. Hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.